So thanks for coming out today, folks. We're going to be looking at the 11th Street Community Garden here on the Lower East Side. And we're here with Max, who's been handed off the keys of this really unique property that we're going to talk more about the details of it. But I've mentioned before, I've said one of the things to really understand about permaculture design in the urban landscape is that it may be a skateboard park with zero stormwater discharge that has some gardening aspects to it, but that it's primarily looking at a beneficial function in relationship to a larger urban issue, which is combined sewer overflows and how to alleviate them on site. In New York City, we're talking about 24 billion gallons a year of CSOs. So I'd like to kind of hand off to Max now and maybe talk a little bit about the garden for us.
Hey, so this is Eastside Community High School Garden, recently renamed Eastside Outside. And so a few years ago, I started working here. There wasn't a whole lot of activity going on with the school and the garden, so along with another gardener in the East Village, made an agreement with the school to have a small composting business run out of the garden, and we would use the resources from that business to fix the garden and make it like a shared space between the school, like Green Thumb, which is an organization with the city parks, to have it like a community garden, and also build a lot of soil and make a lot of compost here. And so what we started doing is just like getting rid of a lot of debris that had built up over time, and starting the raised beds and doing outreach to the community to kind of get more community garden members to help manage the space. The garden member that I started the project with, called Reclaimed Organics, we met at a garden that I'm like from a couple blocks away from here, and I grew up in the garden El Sol Briante, and we started doing this really awesome composting system called Bokashi, and we kind of started spreading it to different gardens in the community because it's a way for us to recycle all types of food waste a lot faster and a lot safer in urban areas without attracting so many pests and like creating a lot of odors that would like make the neighbors kind of upset, because generally in the 5 boroughs the composting that's done is only fruit and vegetable scraps and in like kind of small scale. And so through Bokashi we're able to like remediate soils and gardens and build back a lot of healthy soil. For example, like some of the gardens like erode like under the street level, and the gardens that we've been kind of using Bokashi were kind of like above street level on like a mound almost. So Bokashi is kind of like an anaerobic Japanese composting system, so it doesn't require air. And so what we do is we purchase these microbes from a company and we expand the culture to make it more cost effective. And so we use that to ferment the food waste. So these barrels behind you have fermenting food waste in them, and roughly when they're filled they weigh like 130 to 160 pounds. And so in warm temperatures we let those ferment for about 2 weeks, and then we take those and mix it with some soil and some yard waste and bury them. And I've been experimenting with like the hugel cultures and the Bokashi system kind of together in this garden, because I really like this garden because it's like there's a lot of projects and like things that need to get done over the past couple of years, and the garden that I'm a member of is a more established older garden, so I really like coming here and like working on like, I don't know, projects and like little things and stuff. It's kind of like my, I don't know, just stuff to do. Yeah, play with like tools and power tools and fix stuff up and like work with the school to like get more school classes in here, because like the school doesn't want to put any resources into the garden, which is understandable. And we do have like PTA support, like helping us with writing grants, which is awesome. And I mentioned this organization, Gardens Rising, which is a big grant out of Hurricane Sandy, which is like for gardens to retain more stormwater. And so, connecting with the rest of the neighborhood and like these organizations like helps helps us bring more resources in and like going to all these meetings and stuff.
Max, how do you spell the passion?
BOKASHI.